speaking of tiny and dominant traits, I would definitely recommend playing a dominant trait when you get the chance to, because it adds stability to your trait pile. You know, most other cards can be swapped, stolen, or discarded while you're playing. Dominant traits cannot. Once you play one into your trait pile, it is there for the rest of the game. So even if you've got a strategy that you're sort of building up based on some other cards that you've played, highly recommend just playing a dominant trait, even if it doesn't line up with your strategy at the moment, because in Doomlings, your strategy is going to change turn by turn, you know, age to age. It's all about adapting to the circumstances. At the end of the day, you are much more likely to net out on top if you play dominant cards in your trait pile.
And this is actually a tip for the advanced players, because once you've played a few games and you've seen some awesome combos with dominant traits, you get a few dominant traits in your hand, you're like, that's not that one that I saw happen 6 games ago. I'm gonna hold back and not play it. And that's really foolish, because you have no idea what you're gonna be dealt. And it's kind of like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, except the hand is your trait pile, not your hand. Get stability on the board.
And honestly, if you're starting the game and you've got dominant traits in your hand and it's your first turn, just get it out there, honestly. Because you never know, your second turn could be a catastrophe right away.
Yeah.
Maybe that catastrophe forces you to discard your hand. There go all the dominant traits that you have, if maybe you have 1 or 2 in your hand. While we're on the subject of, we talked a little bit about bonuses. There are a lot of cards in the game that give you bonuses based on the colors in the game. So there are 4 different colors in the game, plus colorless traits. So let's go over the colors really quick. And to illustrate, I am going to show our Kickstarter exclusive cards.
They're very pretty.
So let's look first at the colorless card. So Bones in this example. The colorless cards tend to be kind of catch-all, right? Their effects are sort of all over the place. There's not really a theme necessarily, so
hodgepodge.
It's a hodgepodge.
A little bit of everything.
Exactly.
But one thing that is interesting is they will challenge you, where
Definitely.
they'll try to make you have trade-offs. Can't play this unless that. So it's a lot of fun in that regard.
For example, one of the dominant traits in the colorless set is optimistic nihilism. That's a very powerful effect, but there may be situations where you actually might not want to play that. Maybe it's a little bit later in the game, and if you played optimistic nihilism, you would actually just
bring about the end of the world.
End the game sooner, and you maybe don't have enough points to go along with that.
So you want to be thinking about your colorless cards.
Exactly. So the next color would be purple. Purple cards tend to be pretty mischievous. So this is where you'll see a lot of those swaps, steals, discards, things like that.
Causing trouble.
Causing trouble, yeah.
Rubbing your fellow player a little bit.
There's cards that will prevent an opponent from making a certain play, and then you get to take that card.
I love cards that will allow you to play the effect or the action of another player's card.
Yes.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, inventive is one of my personal favorites. The next one is red cards. These tend to be, very aggressive, very bold cards. Pride, for example, is discard your hand and draw 4 cards. So these are big swing cards.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for those.
And they'll also, they will build your points up aggressively, but they may also come at a cost to you.
Blue cards, these tend to be more defensive. So there's a lot of card drawing in blue cards. So these are great for just having a variety of cards to play with, typically. And then finally, we have greens. Green cards build off of each other really well. This is where our swarm cards exist.
Pack behavior,
symbiosis.
Mm-hmm.
Green cards tend to give you bonus points for having more green cards.
And what's really nice about that is sometimes there's a strategy of like spreading your cards across a bunch of colors so that if a catastrophe strikes where you have to remove a certain color, or if someone says, plays a card that devalues a certain color, you're kind of hedging your bets. There's another strategy that goes all in on green, which is like, I've just got so many green and getting so many bonus points for having green that you can't stop me.